Let's talk about it. I'm listening, baby. You've been working all week. It's a 9 to 5. So won't you join me in my happy hour? It's summer, baby. So I'm stressing out. I'm listening while you speak. I won't be beside. Trouble on me, work it out. We will be carefree. Out of time. One real together, no matter the weather. I'm on my happy hour. I'm on my happy hour. Oh yeah. Hey, am I on my happy hour? Oh yeah. Trouble on me, work it out. We will be carefree. My time, be free. Together, weather. Oh, happy hour. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, happy hour. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, let's talk about it. I'm listening, baby. Hey, am I on my happy hour? Oh. Yeah. I'm feeling it today, folks. This is going to be another wonderful show. Greetings to my folks who are listening. Once again, this is your main man, Andy Brown, your life coach, your host, your author, right here in the DF Dub, getting in for another wonderful episode of the Online Happy Hour. I'm excited about tonight, man. I hope you are as well. If this is the first time listening, man, I appreciate it. If this is the second time that you have tuned in or the third time, keep on tuning in, man. This is what we do. We're live broadcasting in the DF Dub. The skyline is beautiful. The city is lit, man, and I am going to have another wonderful show. It's because of you, the listeners, the callers, the texters, the followers. The show is what it is, and tonight will be no different. Broadcasting live out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area once more and again. This is it, man. Be sure to hit on the link. Follow us on social media. You'll see the tag phrase Andy Brown Speaks on most social platforms, your Twitter, your Instagram, your Facebook, and quite naturally here on this YouTube channel. Subscribe to the link. Share this thing like you share those nasty TikTok videos while you sit on the toilet in the morning. Just be real, man. Just be candid. We're going to have another wonderful broadcast. If you tuned in last week, Dr. Umar Johnson hit us up with some good game, and he dropped some nuggets, man. So if you missed that show for any reason, shame on you. We got knowledge. We got real. We got intense, and we got educated. So he also joined us at the Aldi's restaurant in Dallas-Fort Worth, had a chance to pick up his book. One of the callers had a chance to listen in and grab some information from Dr. Umar as well. So you know what's happening here, man. This is real talk with real people about real subjects, about stuff that we do. I mean, there's other platforms that are going to give you, stuff that you can shake your ass to, and that's fine with that. There's stuff that's going to be very boring that you really won't tune in with that, and that's fine with that. But this is the platform for the community where we get lit, where we get real, where we get awesome, and we get down to the nitty-gritty about the real. So I want to send a wonderful shout out to all my folks who take baths with dishwashing liquid. I don't know why you still do that, but I guess the grease has to be removed some kind of way. And if that's your flavor of choice, you don't need all the perfume in your soaps and suds. Do what you do. Just don't slide and slip out the bathtub in the morning or in the evening, whenever it is that you soak and get ready. But yeah, hit the page, man. Hit the likes, hit some love. Follow the Cash App, follow the sign, and follow the flag, which is the Online Happy Hour. Matriculate into the group. We see y'all coming on in. I trust me, hear when I say I got a wonderful show for you. I'm going to get y'all with some good information. We got the NBA Finals going on. We've got some news and stuff happening. I'm going to dive off into that. But I definitely want to welcome our guest. And before we do, you know what I have to do. The thoughts and ideas displayed tonight on the Online Happy Hour do not reflect those who have been chiming in and giving their information. But what it does reflect are those who are willing to chime in and give their information and be real, be 100, and be educated, enlightened, and entertained. Because this is where it is. So tonight's topic, folks, is going to be something intense. This is July. So tonight, you've seen the page flip through. This is a hot girl summer. The do's and don'ts for women who tote that heat. Now, why is this important, AB? Why you want to talk about this? Well, it's hot outside, right? You're ready to get back out. COVID is what it is, and whether you're afraid of it or not, you want to get back out. You want to have your hot girl summer. We're going to talk about that too. And while you're out and about, you're moving, the crowds have changed. The atmosphere is a bit different, right? So you have to be able to guard and protect yourself at all times. What does that mean exactly? What does that look like? Well, firearms are at an all-time high in purchasing. And there are some people who just don't believe it's necessary for them to have one. That's here, give or take. We're going to talk about that, but you need to be able to defend yourself. So it's not just up to me. You know, I can give you an opinion on this, and that's okay. But what we're going to do is I'm going to give y'all some good game from an expert in the field. I had a chance to talk with this brother, and he gave me, in a brief pinpoint minute, some real insight on what it is to be understood, what it is to be really just to maintain a knowledge of education, just in a real brief snapshot, right? And he's also going to do this not only just himself, but speaking to the ladies with his lady. Yeah. So share the link, man. Share the feed. Go ahead and hit the comments. We're going to take a few tonight, and we're going to talk to this brother about keeping it real. If you have not seen him in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, if you have not seen him wherever you may be, in Kansas City, in California, in Miami, New York, in Springfield, in Tennessee, and even them small folks in Arkansas. Did I say it right? Arkansas. Yeah, Arkansas. If my folks out there in Arkansas, right? If you do not know this brother, you're going to learn about him tonight. We're going to talk to him, and he's going to share with us true law enforcement, true NRA instructor, true gentleman who's keeping it real, and also, ladies, a husband. Can I welcome to the platform tonight a director of threat and intelligence and chief resilient officer, Mr. CLEO JACKSON Jr., to the online happy hour. What's up, fam? How you doing, man?
Wow, what an amazing introduction. I appreciate that. That was kind.
You deserve it, man. How you doing?
Life is good. Future so bright, I have to wear shades. Things are really looking up.
Good. Thank you for making time with us here on the online happy hour. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about this thing, the hot girl summer, the do's and don'ts for women who tote that heat. Now, the reason I felt this topic was really important is because you know there's a spike in purchasing for firearms here in the United States.
Yes.
There's been a shift with the powers that be in the White House and the political office. There's been a shift in our economy as far as levels of protection, understanding the rights of the Second Amendment. And I think that there are some people who just don't know what it means to truly protect themselves. Now, some just say, I'm going to leave it to the Lord, and say, and others are going to say, you know, peace be still, and tote that peace. So I definitely wanted you to kind of give some insight on this. And first of all, before we do that, kind of let the people know who you are, what you do, and why this really matters to you, and why you made yourself available tonight.
Yo, first and foremost, again, thank you for having me. I have 39 years of cross-functional experience in law enforcement, private sector experience, and traveling around the world with folks providing executive protection. And currently we have Lethal Encounter, which is a tactical training academy where we train civilians, law enforcement, military.
Awesome.
That's what we are right now.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So how did you yourself, Mr. Jackson, get involved with law enforcement and protection, and even for the fact of the matter, what it really means? Because when I did bring you on, I mentioned the fact of a director of threat intelligence and chief resilient officer. Yes. For the folks who just struggle with large words bigger than the word guns and fire, what does that mean exactly?
Yo, what that means exactly, first and foremost, when we had the 8-track tape players, you were security guards. We moved it to cassette tapes and got on the CDs. We became security officers. Now we're resilience officers. A security officer can't stop something from happening. So now we understand that we're resilience officers. We don't want it to happen over and over again.
Okay.
That's where risk management comes in. So to kind of cut right to your thing, what the vital thing, what's important right now is that I personally want my civilians and really my beautiful people. I want to say my Black people, but anybody, every person, we need to get trained so we can defend ourselves in the event of an actual emergency. Nobody wants any trouble. Let me say this before we do anything else. I'm a church boy. That's what we didn't say. So everything you said in the beginning, we know we're covered by the blood of the Lamb. We don't stop being that because we got a gun. We still covered by the blood. The Bible teaches us to watch, fight, and pray. And so there's a balance there.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about being covered. Let's talk about being protected and what that really means, because there's a lot of single women who want to get out for this hot girl summer. They want to be seen.
Yeah.
They want to flash those sundresses and show them hams and them yams and be out there. But, when they do that, sometimes they draw a type of audience or a type of brother or a type of direction that's not very welcoming.
Absolutely.
And that no doesn't get handled very easily. That rejection or that turn away doesn't get handled the best way. So sometimes if they look at it, they find themselves defending and fighting off instead of really enjoying that hot girl summer for real.
Well, there could be an issue, just how you stated that, because you may deter someone from dressing the way they want to dress. It's not so much being provocative, just being free. Let me just leave it at that from that perspective. But my point was saying that you can't blame someone for wearing if you wear a short dress, you can't expect to be harassed. That's not something that you should expect. However, we know that could happen. So from our perspective, you got to learn how to be cute. And what we teach you, we need you to be classy, bougie, and ratchet. You got to stay savage. And if you're not that, you cannot do this. So we need you to stay classy, keep your nails done, keep your hair done. Don't stop being you.
Yeah.
But you got to be ratchet at the end of the day.
You got to be. I like that. I like the way you said that, because there are some people who just don't want to, show off too much. They feel as if, their outfits can be a little too revealing because, let's face it, sisters are fine.
Beyond.
Exactly. That's what it is. You look good, ladies. You want to smell good. You want to be in the atmosphere, but you have a bit of a reservation, if you will, about holding back on who you are because you feel as if you got to defend something, to push something away and not be comfortable in those environments. So for those, let's talk about the ones, let's just kind of build it up, if you will. Let's talk about the ones that don't understand the use of having a firearm or the use of understanding protecting themselves. How can some young lady out there, we're talking about hot girl summer, the do's and don'ts for women tote that heat. We're going to talk about the don'ts for the do's right now. So how do you really what do you say to a young lady who is feeling uncomfortable in public for, she feels as if, well, I don't want to be in this crowd. I don't want to really get out there. I don't want to, put myself in a position because I'm afraid of what might happen.
Everything we do is based on the totality of circumstance. Everything we do, you're going to respond to any not so much assaults, but any unwanted attention based on the totality of circumstance. I don't want to just focus this on Black folk, but we just know how to handle things. And I say we because we've been in the state of Texas. You can stop someone if they scare you. You can stop them if they scare you. Stop them. In this case, we're talking about shooting them. We don't want to shoot nobody. But in the state of Texas, you can stop someone if they frighten you. Beautiful Black people. We've been scared all of our lives.
Yeah. So
we're probably not going to be walking around here just arbitrarily shooting anyone. So hot girl summer. The issue is if you feel trained, you feel empowered. That's our word. That's the word Ms. Kim is really pushing. That's what I get from these women. That's really your takeaway for today for the ladies. You will feel absolutely empowered if you get a little training. If you get a gun, learn how to use it, learn how to carry it. And it just becomes second nature, like a really nice cell phone.
So here's the thing that I want to address. This is something that I've heard in several conversations, whether it's with my family members, whether it's with friends. People are saying, you know what, I don't want to get a firearm because I'm afraid I might use it. I'm crazy. I might end up shooting somebody with the way my emotions are. If that shocks me to hear that, but I mean it happens more often than not. It's not just one person, it's several.
Oh, believe me, that's our first response. Generally, if I find a man with his wife and we're passing out our cards or we're speaking with them, he'll start shaking us up. Oh no, don't give her a gun. She's
Really?
crazy in a fun way. But they
Okay.
kind of may mean it, that dry snitching. But then the ladies will say the same thing because they mean it. But the moment that they come to our class, you all, and we start talking, y'all,
Mm-hmm.
grown folks are doing what grown folks do. You're
Yeah.
not going to shoot anybody. I can't speak for every person, but I'm about 95% sure you're not going to go out and do anything foolish. The moment that you get this training from any trainer, not here, the moment that you become empowered, most people, they don't abuse that authority. You understand what you just put your arms around. And most people kind of bring it down a notch more than even having to worry about causing someone else death or serious bodily injury.
Yeah.
They'll almost get hurt trying not to do it because once you're trained, you know what the consequence of someone forcing you to defend yourself could be.
Yeah. I agree. I agree 100% with that. And I'm glad you brought that up because it's really about self-defense. And I'm glad that you're on here and you're educating and you're teaching. There are some people out there that feel as if, well, I don't want to get a firearm because, I have children in the house. And somebody might find this firearm or they might see something in here that's going to make them gravitate to it. And I don't want to take the chance of hurting my baby or my grandchild or my son or my niece or my nephew, anybody else that don't pay bills up in this house. They don't want them getting a hold of that because they have a fear of purchasing or owning that somebody else might get a hold of it and hurt them because of what they're holding to protect themselves. Does that sound familiar?
Oh, it sounds very familiar, but this is our
Mhm.
response. If we go in the kitchen,
Right.
is there a stove in your kitchen? Yes, it is. There's burners. You're not gonna go take it out. There's not a kid that you had to tell twice in your family, baby, don't put your hands on the burner. They
Yeah.
just don't put their hands on the burner. If
Mhm.
we expose our children to things, children are resilient. They respond, they love responsibility. If you put responsibility on your children's shoulders, 90% will respond to it. Before I get to the point, let me kind of tell you,
Please.
little Jimmy, don't let little Jimmy get near a gun. Don't let little Jimmy near a gun. But little Tony, he's 8, but he's mature. He follows instructions, as mature as an 8-year-old could be. First of all, so every parent has to make that conclusion first.
Mm-hmm.
But as for me in my house, 7 daughters, every one of them had a gun in their room at 10 years old.
Okay.
Every single one of them. You start with safety, but you have to introduce them to that. The reason most kids get hurt, they never saw one. You hid the gun in the top of the closet. They found it.
Yeah.
If you educate children early, they have so much respect. But again, every single one that we will use as an example, the children that we train, 7, 8, 9, 10, their grades went up. Their
Wow.
behavior became better. The parents called back and said, what is it? What? Oh man, it was the best thing we ever did. So it really is more of an asset than a liability. The liability is not exposing your children early enough.
Yeah, that's real. I'm so glad you said that because somebody out there needed to hear what you had to say. Mr. CLEO Jackson is dropping in. He's made time to chime in us with the online happy hour, folks. The director of threat intelligence, chief resilient officer here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. If you do not know this brother, you're gonna get a chance to know him tonight. The information will be shared. Hit some love, man. Hit some likes on your social media platform, whether it's your Facebook, whether it's your YouTube. Share the link. Share the topic. This is good. Hot Girl Summer, the do's and don'ts for women that tote the heat. Now, here's another thing about that. We're talking about protecting ourselves, right? And having these firearms, but there's one or two that say, you know what? I'm going to wait. You know, I'm going to see what people are doing right now. I'm going to take my vacation with my girlfriends, and I'm going to wait. I got some money saved up for these new shoes I need to buy, right? Or I got a little cash put back for just in case my AC goes out, or in case me and my girls want to go have an out of town, but I don't need protection. I'm trusting in the Lord. And I know that my God is going to protect me no matter what. So why would I need to have a firearm in the first place if I know that my God is all invincible, all knowing, all omnipotent, all powerful, and will keep all demons away from me wheresoever I might be?
I sure hope that somebody thinks that I'm going to try and contradict that statement or have something to use to offset that. I don't. That is our first asset. The Bible teaches us to watch, fight, and pray. If you got a little word in you, you'll understand why you are obligated. The book said, I think they said, Master, when you sent me out before, did you give me everything I need? Jesus came back and said, however, in this season, if you do not have a sword, sell your cloak and buy one. Today, your sword is a Glock. Y'all, if you do not have something to defend yourself, you're kind of out of order. We got caught when you said wait, sir, Brother Brown, that we already waited. We waited during the quarantine. Y'all found yourself locked in the house. Oh my God. Y'all know we were having that same situation with the current political climate, which made everybody kind of fearful because we thought all kinds of calamities were going on in this country. Then we had to quarantine. You were stuck in the house with no gun, no bullets. All you had was that spatula and a dildo. That wasn't going to work. So now we know that we want to go out and purchase something to defend ourselves in the event of an actual emergency. Nobody wants to use it, but you can't use those amazing shoes, those red bottoms. They're not going to work that day. Those amazing window treatments, they're amazing, but they're not going to work. So we need to do something to defend ourselves, or at least empower ourselves, so we can sleep at night.
I believe that. I believe that. So what is it? You said you have how many daughters in the house?
No. I'm a single. I'm an empty nester. My baby's 24. Dr. Bailey Jackson. I had 7 daughters. 7.
7 daughters.
Every one of them learned early how to defend themselves against domestic violence, and that is a gaping chest wound. You know, I'm not advocating shooting somebody, you all. That's not what this is. Our primary thing is to nonviolent dispute resolution, avoiding the fight in the first place. That's how we get down. That don't even need to be taught. That's who we are. So what we want to do is make sure we understand how to avoid a conflict in the first place, which is us running, avoiding fights. If you're physically unable to do that, you're going to have to defend yourself. So that'll come from situational awareness, knowing what's going on around you. Most of your readers and listeners, they understand situational awareness. We've been doing it all our lives. We're going to run. We're never going to lie. We use situational awareness to avoid the fight at all costs. And if you have to stop someone, it will be because of the totality of circumstance.
So let's talk about that, Mr. Jackson, if you will. Just kind of open up that discussion panel. We're going to be talking about if somebody is in that situation, right? Maybe it's not necessarily a domestic issue, but it's in public. And they don't want to cause a scene, but they definitely want to get away. I know a lot of ladies out there who enjoyed the movie What's Love Got to Do With It. Why you're attracted to this violence, I don't know. But maybe there's just the trigger in there that it's relatable. These scenes are very relatable. I saw the movie one time, and that's all I need to see because that behavior doesn't really register with me. Pressure. Maybe have a little drink on that, man. I say
yes.
So what I want to say to you is there's always somebody out there who's maybe in that situation but does not know how to get out of that situation in a public setting. Can you speak to that behavior and what they can or cannot do to make sure that they are, number one, safe, and number two, get totally away from that so that they don't have to deal with that in a public setting?
Every situation has to be weighed on its own merit. There's no absolutes, and your example requires that I make the statement, it depends on the totality of circumstance. So let's give it some more circumstance. If you're in a public place, it depends on the person. If this guy the kind that He gets more excited when I ignore him, or he will respond if I do that. All of that's relevant in order for us to talk about a response. You got to know the person you're dealing with. That's what we want to, you need to know the person you're dealing with, what their character is like. Are they emotionally high strung, or how do they usually react? That'll tell you if I want to show out in public, because this joker is going to act like this in public. So that if that helped at all, law enforcement, seek help in the totality of circumstance. Scream for help if you really feel bad. I know that sounds simplistic, but you'll get others' attention and create distance between you and that person. Beautiful. It depends on the circumstance.
It does. It does. I'm glad you brought that up. Somebody out there is dealing with this right now, probably watching, probably going to be watching this a little bit later, and even may need to share this with a friend or a family member, because that's what we're dealing with. So it's very relevant that people understand that this show, of course, be entertained, of course, be enlightened, but at the same time, be educated on what goes on. This is your hot girl summer. You want to get out there and your temperatures are flaring, you're looking good, you're smelling good, you want to be seen, and not everybody can understand that, hey, this is your time to shine. So ladies, I kind of encourage you all to get this information, share this with a friend, tag somebody in this video that probably needs to see this a little bit more than you, that has to deal with this on a regular basis. Mr. CLEO Jackson is here with us now, talking about hot girl summer, the do's and don'ts for women who tote that heat. Now, for those of the ladies who are watching right now, I know we're probably halfway into the show. Let's kind of talk about some of the firearms or some of the mechanisms they can use if they're just now learning how to acquire a firearm. What type of instrument should I invest in? What's going to be good for me? I don't want one that's going to blow me way back into the wall when I pull the trigger, or something that's going to be just good enough for my little petite fingers or her long ass fingernails, whatever the case may be. What would you recommend? How do you talk to people about that?
First and foremost, any trainer or instructor is probably going to ask you the first question: what do you need the gun for? What are you going to use it for? And once we establish that, let's say home defense, because that's what we're all kind of talking about, our subject for tonight, hot girl summer. We're going to carry it for home defense. If you come here to Lethal Encounter, we're going to try and talk to you about the size of guns and try to fit a gun for you. But once you come and talk to me, I'm going to tell you that every gun that you pick up, you need to be able to make it work. That's how we handle it here. So there is no gun for a lady. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm excited that you're fun size, or if you have a little bit more height or strength. It doesn't matter. What you're going to do and what we try to do is make sure that we find the kind of gun that you like based on its performance, obviously. But you all just need to make sure that you can shoot a gun, any gun you pick up. It's the 7 steps to shooting. How you learn how to shoot, if you can shoot a gun. And once we teach you to shoot a gun, it won't matter what gun you pick up. This is what matters. This is what matters. Where I'm going, you're not going to have a gun. You're going to have guns with an S. When you wear your cute little black dress, you're going to wear your cute little holster that fits on your thigh.
Right.
If you wear some jeans, you might wear the kind of holster that you wear on the outside of your jeans. So you would have a normal draw stroke. There's thigh holsters. Where's the bra holster? They sell a bra holster that is absolutely amazing. You need to practice. But it attaches right to a young lady's bra. It's slightly tilted. That's obviously going to be a smaller caliber gun when I wear it there. There's a t-shirt holster, if I can get it on there. Yeah. So ladies will wear a t-shirt like this, but it holds holsters, your cell phone. So there's several different holsters that you would wear based on how you dress and where you're going.
I love it. I love it. Mr. CLEO Jackson Jr. is on here giving us some good game about hot girl summer, the do's and don'ts for women that tote that heat. And there's some out there, with that sense of fashion, right? They want to be fly. They want to look good, whether it's their heels, their sundress, a nice tight fit, right fit pair of jeans, but also the right color to coordinate with that good skin tone, with that nice hairdo, and things that are looking good for them. So what about the one that says, well, I don't really want the firearm that's black because it's not cute. I want a pink one. I want a red one. I want a blue one. I want some polka dots. I want something that's going to look good and spit potpourri when I shoot and pull this trigger.
Well, what's that's called is when folks go out and get a Cerakoted gun. Now that's they're cool as a fan. But we saw today where Lego has an amazing replica. It's a gun. It looks like a Lego, but it looks like a toy. That's why we try to ask all of our people, not just females, but mostly females, don't get those type of guns. They're cute. With the Louis Vuitton, or get a pink one. We have Deltas, just all kinds of amazing patterns that folks use, but they're cute. But we're not trying to be very cute. We're trying to be effective. Our guns, just like our knives, are meant to be felt, not seen.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not trying to wear a gun so folks can see it. But if you want a gun and you want it to be really cute, then do that. But you take a chance on children misunderstanding that it is what it is. And so that's the downside on that.
Yeah, I can agree. I'm glad that you said that. I was listening to one of the a YouTube video where somebody actually said that the color of the gun, the black, is very intimidating. It has somebody that just kind of be a little bit more reserved as far as approaching. But when they see the different colors, it makes them not as threatened. It makes them feel as if, it's more of a welcoming as opposed to a threat to make them be more reserved and push back.
Here's our word to use instead of saying not as threatening. Your word is it's not a deterrent. We want that to be a deterrent, and that's the word, because we're not trying to threaten you with it, but you need to be deterred by it. By seeing it, you would know I probably don't want to mess with her. If she has on a gun that's multicolored and really cute, which is what, to your point, they may try you. So no one says that they will or won't if your gun is black, but they may, to your point, I totally concur. They may take you for an easy draw.
Woo! Real talk tonight, man. I'm getting a few text messages here. This is good information. I'm feeling this tonight. Hold on. What else am I getting? Man, y'all are crazy. Thank you for making time. I understand protection, but I feel some type of way about firearms. Yes, I get that. They're laughing at your comment about a spatula and a dildo. Man, this is funny. Y'all good up in here.
But they were in the house.
Yeah, think about it. I mean, you got something long and hard that you want to tag and hit somebody with, and that's the first thing that's in your area. That's a whole nother discussion topic in and of itself. So yeah, let's talk about that. If there are some out there who say, you know what, well, the firearm isn't my thing, but self-defense is. What does that look like, and what is it that you would teach and instruct, both maybe for you and your wife, to let somebody in and welcome them to know that this is a possibility for them?
Well, that's absolute is where we really want to start. I'm glad we had a faith-based somewhat discussion in the beginning, y'all. That's where this starts. We're never getting rid of that part. We're bringing the Father with us, so we're not leaving them behind on any point. So after that, now we need to get some sort of self-defense training. But before the self-defense, y'all, it starts with your diet, fitness. You need to eat right. You cannot fight if you have no strength, if you have no endurance. So first and foremost, have God in your life, eat right, treat yourself right, make sure your mind is good. Then come and get some self-defense training. Now we're talking about size, weight, height, what's best for you, just like the considerations for the firearm. Krav Maga is more of a defensive tactics. Jiu-jitsu, you're on the floor, we're grappling. Guys are pushing you on the ground, and you want to be able to get up or subdue them. And then striking. So you have to we do a holistic approach to this. Krav Maga, striking, close quarters battle with your firearm, jiu-jitsu. So there's a holistic approach to this. You don't have to be a subject matter expert in all of them. You just want to have some working knowledge of all of them.
Yeah.
And and we do that every Sunday.
Every Sunday.
Every Sunday. We have classes daily, but we have classes every Sunday. Self-defense courses for females.
Now, is this everything that you do? Is this directly in the classroom setting, or you do this virtually? How does that work exactly for those who don't know how to reach you?
Well, COVID-19, I'll give you our information. But COVID-19 drove folks to, the church did not want you on your phones doing church. And now we're having virtual services. This is impossible to do virtually. There are some things we can talk about, but this is not a conversation type of business. You got to get up close and personal. And since we have COVID, we're teaching it differently. We have to be mindful of that in order to even teach it. But the fact of the matter is, you got to get up close and personal to train in this. So with that being said, we have a facility, we have a building with bedrooms, hallways, stairwells, elevators. So we bring you in here and we do what we call scenario-based training that is totally immersive. So we put you in the moment to give you a feeling of what that may be like in order to avoid or survive a lethal encounter.
Wow. This is good. This is great information. For those who are listening in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, this is what I'm going to do. So if you recommend and you've heard about this information on the show, what I want to do is I want to pay for a class for somebody who may be listening, whatever class it may be, whatever it may be. If you have a bit of reservation, you really don't know what this is about, but you have a bit of intrigue and you want to learn about what Mr. Jackson is doing in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, reach out to him, find him on social media. Check out the website, and if you have heard about this via the show, hold your money. I'm going to pay for this for you on your very first visit because I want you to just, one, get the experience, and also be sure that this is something that you feel comfortable with because I have a good understanding that you're going to take care of them once they get there.
This is what we're going to do since you were so generous. Mm-hmm. If you pay for one, we'll add 4. That'll make a fun class. So wow. We'll have five. You have those 5 ladies come to our class, experience a day with us, and ask them to come on your show and tell you what happened and how do they feel about that experience.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's working together, folks. I hope y'all are truly understanding and getting the message we're talking about. Hot Girl Summer, all you hot girls out there, protect yourself, protect your health, protect your wealth, and understand the do's and don'ts for women who tote that heat. So this isn't probably the time to worry about what your hair is going to be looking like. This isn't probably the time to be worried about what that happy hour, when that happy hour starts. It's probably about making sure that you are in position to better yourself, better your body, and better your knowledge base of your own surroundings and understand the circumference of your own awareness around you so that you can feel protected and, like Mr. Jackson said, have a little bit more confidence in what you're doing and where you're going. I felt that today. This is real.
I felt that all in my feet, young man.
Yeah.
Let me share something with you. Please. Ladies, keep it doing you. Actually, we are concerned about their hair. Lady Primetime said, if you look good, you play good. So, ladies, you got to look good. Plus, you're going to be on TV in the event of an actual emergency. It seems like they always find the person that looks like us that don't look so straight, that is not very articulate. So y'all keep making sure our diction is correct. Make sure you look good and smell good. You may find yourself on television. And if we have to use force, unfortunately, hopefully we never have to use deadly force. But if you did, you want to look good. You're going to be on video.
This is real, man. Getting some good game, getting some good insight. The folks are trickling on into the page. I see them right there. There's a few folks that are just chiming in to let themselves be known, but there's quite a few, even more for the fact of the matter, that just want to tiptoe around it and don't want to be seen, and that's okay. The main thing is I want you to make sure that you get insight, get information. My Bible readers out there, there's a passage in the book of Proverbs that says, in everything that you get understanding. And this is the main place for you to get understanding and let yourself and your information be understood. This is the online happy hour with your main man, Andy Brown, getting it in with Mr. CLEO Jackson, talking about Hot Girl Summer, the do's and don'ts for women who tote that heat.
Yes.
Yeah, getting it in. Mr. Jackson, kind of give us some insight on why you felt this was important, not only for your family, but to give back to the community in this way.
I don't want to keep focusing on Black folks because I love my white folk, I love my brown brothers, and they're all in my family. So I really want to make sure that I make that absolutely clear so no one feels like I'm just focusing on beautiful Black folk. But sir, what happened was We were not exposed to guns before 1968, white folk. So did you ask me why I feel like this?
Yes.
My father introduced me to guns at 7 years old. I've had one since that day. Early on, I realized that most of us were not having access to guns because our families, our fathers, for whatever reason, mom and them didn't want our amazing queens to have access to it. And we certainly didn't want our boys to have it because of the consequence, 67, 65, 64.
True.
Coming forward, you all, now we know better, we do better. I'm the watchman on the wall. It is my job to make sure that my people understand that you can have a firearm and you can handle it safely. It will empower you, so you will feel comfortable just going to sleep at night, coming out of your house. And there's just a way to do it. And we just absolutely need to exercise it. Was that Luke 22:36? You know, if you do not have a sword, sell your cloak and buy one. You know, the book said that. You have to arm yourselves and learn how to defend yourself.
Yeah.
It's no slight against God, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, it's not. There's a level of people who are saying, you know what, I feel this, I love this. There are some out there who have had family members lost due to gun violence. There are some who have lost children due to gun violence. This is the anniversary, I believe, 6 years now of Sandra Bland being missing in Waller County near Houston, Texas, on the campus of Prairie View A&M University, very near Prairie View for that matter, like right around the corner where this happened. So there's a level of reservation. There's a level of a concern, and even for the young men out there. Now, here's something that we want to talk about when we're dealing, in fact, with law enforcement and understanding the law.
Yes,
because the laws have changed. In the state of Texas, where we are, there is a law that passed that says that you do not need to actually hold or carry a license or registration to have a firearm in your presence. But how does that really affect somebody who may be out there that has one and just may not know that there could be other consequences that deal with that? How do you approach that with someone if you happen to get pulled over by a law enforcement officer? You know, how do you deal with that type of situation where, yes, you could be packing some heat, but you don't have a license for your handgun in the state that you live in? What does that look like? What should they say to a police officer?
Well, let's start with Texas. I think there's a lot of fruit that you just dropped on us. The first one is, I cannot talk to you about dealing with law enforcement if you get that 1% guy. All of us love law enforcement. Everybody loves the blue that I know. We don't like bad police. There's nobody I know that don't care. We love authority and all of that. We don't like bad police. So I can't tell you what to do if you meet a bad policeman, with a license or without. You're gonna have a bad day. So let's just talk about if you meet a good one. Got it? Here we go.
Please.
If you have a license, you will know what to do. First and foremost, that's why it's imperative that you still come and get a license to carry. If you have not came to some instructor and had that person instruct you on how to handle that situation, you have to lean on your own understanding. And all I can tell you is good luck. So you get training. This is where I'm going with the constitutional carry. Why you need to get training? I don't want to say it's a setup, beautiful people. This is a setup. They are giving you a Corvette and a set of car keys and telling you to go drive. You're going to have a wreck or you're going to speed. Either way, that's not very good. So you want to get trained to try and avoid violating the law and obviously crashing. So that answered that question, you need to come and get trained. You need a license. I wouldn't operate without it, because if you get pulled over, let me say this, you don't need a license to have a gun in the car today. You do not need a gun. You do not need a license to have a gun in your car since September 1st, 2007. You can have a gun in your car. It just needs to be concealed. That's just what it is. So if a policeman pulls you over and do you have any guns or weapons in the car, say, yes, I do. It's okay. Now, your gun should be concealed. Every beautiful person should know from this, all Black people get killed early in the movies. And every person has a problem that puts their hand in their glove compartment. If you do not come to class, you won't hear us say things like, don't put the gun in the glove compartment, keep it in your armrest. That little thing right there could be the difference between an accident and an incident. Yeah. So it's just little tricks to the trade that you'll learn in a class. Your instructor will offer you different pieces of knowledge, insight, based on what they've done before. I just got a good note there because this is a bad thing. Generally, you all, because you can have a gun in your car since September 1st, 2007, that's the law of the land. Mm-hmm. But if you didn't know that, and a peace officer asks you, do you have any guns or weapons in the car? And you sound unsure, it doesn't take, I don't want to say the wrong peace officer, but it only takes a peace officer a few minutes of conversation with you to put you in a position to where you're unlawfully carrying that weapon. Yeah. So you need to know the rules of the road, but confidence is everything. And confidence will come with training and instruction. Lack of training and instruction, your confidence may not be so high. And that officer smells weakness. They smell when you're just not sure. And you can find yourself saying something or doing something that may put you in peril when you were not in peril in the initial traffic stop.
That's good information. I'm glad you said that. I'm really glad you touched on that. Mr. CLEO Jackson here has given us some good insight. We're talking about hot girls, some of the do's and don'ts for women who tote that heat. Ladies, please pay attention. Fellas, I hope you all are too. This is the Director of Threat Intelligence and Chief Resilient Officer right here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, giving us some good insight, man. He's making time, and I hope that you all are getting some insight on this. Please share the video, hit some likes, hit some loves, and talk about this, and let's continue to open up this dialogue. I've got about a good 10 minutes before we wrap the show up. But as we're talking about that with policemen and law enforcement, there is a stigma out there that, you know, people are just feeling uncomfortable with police officers and going to them about their situations. Most recently here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, the Botham Jean situation. You know, there's situations to where police officers are just not getting the good rap or getting the insight to say that they are protecting people of color. And people just aren't feeling safe by those who are labeled to protect and serve. Can you speak to that mentality, maybe on either side, to say that is there a wrong thinking in this, or are we really just kind of confused on the behavior, or what should we do to kind of ease the pain on that?
We're certainly not confused. You know, we're not going to pull a Richard Pryor and go say, you're not going to believe your lying eyes. Our eyes tell us we have a problem. But my opinion is, and I think it's carried by most y'all, most policemen are amazing. Y'all, we hear about a lot of bad stuff, but there's a whole lot of good stuff happening. Every policeman is not out to shoot you. Yeah. If you have some bad apples, you better believe it. And what will what would help, in my humble opinion, is if you get trained, you will have confidence in dealing with them. It's just something about a bully. Mm-hmm. It's something about a bully. They just can smell weakness. And some policemen, the ones who I think are perpetrating most of this foolishness, I think are pretty cowardly. And they're preying on your fear. And so confidence, not arrogance, y'all, not us pushing anybody, but if you're confident, consistent in your conversation, most peace officers will handle you and keep it moving. They are trying to get back to what they were doing. There's real policing going on. But I really want to touch the question where you're going, because I can't answer it totally, which is why, reporting things to the police, calling the police. You always got to keep praying about that and pray that they get more training and they handle themselves appropriately. And that's a policing training issue. It's just my hope and my prayer. Yeah, that they do better.
I do. I agree with that 100%. There was a point in time where I wasn't very comfortable with police officers or around me at all. Family members, and I just had a very nasty taste in my mouth about who they were, what they do, and how they treat people of color, just because that is what the media portrays more regularly towards us. Yes. I had a good conversation with a family member who is a police officer, and they kind of share some stuff with me, about who's being on the force and that they need more people and things of that nature. So I can stand in agreement with some of the comments on there. I don't have to agree with everything, but I do stand in agreement with some of the comments on there. So I do let people know that it's not always the bad cops, and unfortunately that the majority are getting the bad rap, but you don't see those who are stepping up and stepping out, defending their fellow law enforcement officers.
Absolutely. And we just have to keep praying that they report each other. I mean, that's a whole show that I know you can fill hours of conversation with. So
yeah, definitely. And I wouldn't mind doing it because I feel strongly about that. Me as a parent of a young black male, I want my son to come home. No matter where he is or no matter how old he may be, I want him to come home, whether he lives with me or in his own personal domicile. Go home, be safe. And that is something that I pray and I speak on a regular basis, just as often as I breathe, brush teeth, comb my hair, and inhale and exhale on a regular basis. So that is my definite prayer to the heaven and to my God that I serve, to do that, allow him to come home. I just think that's necessary.
Let me share something with you if I could. I want to stick my nose in there. You mentioned the fact that the Honorable Kimberlyn Smith was going to be on your show. She fell under the weather just a little bit and she didn't feel comfortable speaking on camera. I want to share something with you that I know she would have spoke on. I'm a really good instructor, if I must say so myself. I really felt good training women until I started seeing her do it. There's something about a woman training with another female. We get it done from my perspective with them. But it's just something about a woman training with a woman. They talk about different things. They can relate on different levels that I cannot. And here's the quick example. You ask about the size of guns and what kind of gun. When Mr. Jackson walks you in there, I pointed a gun of the series of ones on the table, and we make them work. And I have found females and they're crying. And it's just not for them. And Mr. Jackson is going, come on, we got to make it. You can do it. And I give them the rest of my fiery speech. And while I think it works, it doesn't. She gets with them and they sing songs and they walk back in the room and they shoot the gun. And I'm like, wow. So I said that to say this. I don't care where y'all go train, go somewhere. And our facility is Lethal Encounter. I want to make sure it is Lethal Encounter. That's our school. And we have ladies only classes, co-ed classes, but women training with women tend to get more out of that experience. So no matter whether you come here or somewhere else, you want to train and you want to train with other women and, to put yourselves in a position to survive on Lethal Encounter.
So you have a range as well?
We're 2 blocks from the range. We're a total of 3 minutes. All this support, y'all, come on, let's do some business. We're trying to build our own gun range. And that's what we're hoping to have done before, by 2022.
Wow.
And that way we really hope to build something that all folks will be able to come and really feel comfortable enough training, let their hair down, bringing their children. Child care facility is going to be within our place. It's really going to be something special.
Awesome. This is good. So glad that we're having this discussion topic. I only got a few more minutes left up in the show. Hot Girl Summer, the do's and don'ts for women who tote that heat. Speaking with Mr. CLEO Jackson Jr. in the DFW area. Truly been a pleasure talking with you. So if those who don't know what you have going on, please give us your information. How do people find out more about you and let the people know where they can actually reach you?
Our security company is Strategic Intelligence Group. For the sake of this conversation, y'all just remember Lethal Encounter, lethalencounter.com. We're on all of your social networks. We'd love to have you. lethalencounter.com. You'll be able to find us pretty fast. We're open every day, 7 days a week. We don't close. We're waiting for you.
Good.
Phone number?
You spoke to the fact that your wife or your significant other helps with that. Is somebody asked for the location? Where can they find your location on this?
We're at 200 North Carrier, Grand Prairie, Texas, 75050. 200 North Carrier Parkway in Grand Prairie, Texas.
200 Grand Prairie. So is that off the, what is that, closer to 360, closer to 161? Where are we looking at? Let me see.
We're about 2 minutes from all of them.
Okay.
Oh, Facebook, Instagram. Facebook, Instagram. The phone number is 214-900-9039. And we're centrally located between all of those highways you just described.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely going to be checking you out. I'm glad you made time for us.
Man, thank you for having us. It's an honor.
Please don't let this be the last time that you time in and get some good insight about this. Let me ask you this. How do you, when you kind of mentioned on this, one last question, how do you help ease the stress for those who are newly coming in, who want to be welcome, who really don't know what to expect when they get there? What is it that you do to help them ease the stress, either by before they walk in or once they open up that door?
They need to come. Once they come in, you just have to come. Once they come in, they take their shoes off and relax. Almost literally. If you want to take your shoes off, take them off. This is really a conversation. And we believe that we create an atmosphere to where you can kind of relax, let your hair down, be honest. Obviously, the best groups are those that are groups of friends or family, so they can really have an open conversation. Because maybe with 10 or 15 people in the room, you may not want to be as transparent as you may want to be in order to get some of the information you may need. So that's the best way. Get a group together. If not, we believe the environment is warm enough and relaxed enough, to ask the questions that you may want to ask so you can get the answers that you need to get.
Beautiful. I definitely thank you for making time, Mr. Jackson.
Absolutely.
Thank you. God bless you and your family for doing the wonderful things that you're doing. You're definitely going to hear from me, and you're probably going to see me this weekend, definitely, because I need some more ammo for my firearms as well. And it's about time for me to end up. This is about that time. So thank you so much. God bless you. And I will definitely be in touch. For all those who are listening, I know they're saying thank you. The information is going to be posted as well. My folks are going to be, once again, 200 North Carrier Parkway, Suite 200, Grand Prairie, Texas, 75050. Thank you so much, Mr. Jackson.
You're absolutely amazing, Dr. Brown. Keep doing what you do.
Absolutely. Share the link, folks. Be informed, enlightened, and entertained. I definitely want to thank you all for making time for this wonderful show. Thank Mr. Jackson for making time, for chiming in. As always, folks, you are fantastic. You make the show what it is. And if you got some great insights tonight, please do us a favor. Tell 2 more people to tune in with you. Just 2 more. Watch the show grow. We get down, we get real about some real topics, some real conversation. This is the Online Happy Hour with your main man, Andy Brown. In parting words, I want to say good night to my family. Go mom to my frat. Say a prayer for your children, your uncles, your cousins, your nieces, and your nephews, that they all get home safe. God bless you. Thank you for tuning in. Be safe, be prepared, and be loved. It's your main man, Andy Brown, saying good night. Happy hour.